Welcome to the REALL Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by the
Systems Doctors,
Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL Resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
the Systems Doctor.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
The Systems Doctors
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with the
Systems Doctors
describe them as an excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 216 of the REALL Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Systems Doctors, HERS. I'm Dr. Sheikah Houston.
Good morning, everybody, and I am Dr. Tammy Taylor. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. And if this is your first time tuning in, you may be wondering, well, who are the Systems Doctors?
And we are so super glad that you asked. We are best-selling authors and speakers who transformed our schools with report card movement of 2 and 3 levels in just a single year. We are award-winning leaders. We're NWEA Case Study School and Adminum Showcase School, STEAM School of Excellence, the Palmetto Silver Award for Academic Growth recipient. We are Local Entrepreneurs Accelerator Program Award winners and Avid MC Selection. And then most recently, we are Avid Global Achievement finalists for the elementary and district director categories.
Absolutely. And we don't say all of that to brag, but to let you know that we are qualified. So we are also senior staff developers for Create and Educate. And as co-host of the REALL Academy, we have impacted over 300,000 educators based on our counts numbers of views and about 7 million students through our free weekly live stream PD that you are tuned into right now. So we specialize in helping schools improve through our real resilience framework that you see over our shoulders. And this is also connected to the Real Resilience series, which is our new line of children's books. In our first book, Amir's Awakening, and the activity guide, as we told you last week, have officially been endorsed by the GOAT, Principal Kafele. So we are very excited about that. We actually have a meeting about that today. So that should be hitting everywhere soon.
Yes, we're very, very excited about that aspect of our work. And we truly believe that you're going to be excited about it as well. Each Saturday, this episode and every episode comes from us as a part of our live stream network, our Fantastic Four. And the Fantastic Four begins on Saturday morning, which is our Super Saturday at 10 a.m. with Principal Sean Hurt. He wasn't on this morning, but you can catch him on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. And then we follow Principal Hurt in the Real Academy, Shika and I, and we begin at 10:30. And at 10:55, we are followed by the leader's mentor and the GOAT of all things leadership in the AP and New Principals Academy by Principal Kafele. And then on what we have decided is Sensational Sunday, we round out with the PGP podcast with Principal Josh Tovar and Dr. Marty Moreno again. And we are very, very grateful that you all tune in and be a part of that Fantastic Four professional development that is offered every week. So we ask that you like, share, subscribe, send stars, make comments, do all of those things that the platforms require that help us to build our algorithms. And as always, we say please and thank you.
Absolutely. And shout out to our platform engineer, Brandon Griffin. He's been getting your comments up. And so everyone who normally tunes in knows that it is real fam shout out time. So I'm just going to go down my list. Thank you for joining us to Chancellor Rashard Davis. He's back in Las Vegas. I hope you enjoyed your time over here on the East Coast. September Devance Vance Daniels, thank you for joining us. Our platform, we're going to have to come up with a name for what you do, Miss Dot McKeever Jeter, the person that gets the word out to everybody, Miss Dot McKeever Jeter, and we appreciate you so
And
much.
thank you so much.
Absolutely. Principal Kenyelle Sessions, thank you for joining us. David Bell from Benton Harbor, Michigan, thank you for joining us. The Leader's GOAT, as Tammy talked about, our Leader's Mentor and the GOAT, Principal Kafele, is here. Thank you for joining us and for everything that you do to highlight all of the platforms as well. Dr. Melissa Jones Chunu, thank you for joining us. My mom, Miss Beverly Hall, thank you for
Miss
joining us.
Beverly.
Dr. Joe Griffin, who also does this work. Thank you for joining us. Queen Stacy L. Joy out on the West Coast. Thank you for joining us. Melissa, I see Melissa responding. Okay, Josh Tovar is with us. He's our brother in the work. AP Patrick Lawrence from Connecticut, our other queen on the West Coast. Principal Jasmine Harris is with us. Kenna Rowland is with us from New Jersey. And let me see if I missed anybody. Constance Sherrard is tuning in from Pearl, Mississippi. Queen Arcella Austri is tuning in. I see Ben, and I'm not going to mess up the rest of your name, but it's, where is that from, Tammy?
Sis Tanisha.
Okay, thank you for joining us. And I see Al Kosser. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. So we are definitely an international platform. If I missed anybody, charge it to my head and not to my heart. If you see anybody I missed, Tammy, just shout them out. But we thank you all because you could be doing a lot of things and you are intentional about being with us every Saturday, and we could not appreciate you more. Our real comment of the week last week is coming from Queen Arcella Austri. That was from episode 215, where we discussed connections matter and we talked about the YouTube classroom. And she stated it must have meaning to them, meaning the personalization of lessons. Making it personal and knowing someone cares is top tier. This is gold. So this is an example of why we do what we do. If you missed that episode, please catch the replay on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn. And we are live on all of those platforms. And Tammy has some condolences to send out.
Yes, please, if you would, just remember our school community in your thoughts and prayers. We we had a lot of loss this week. We had a former student who was killed in a tragic car accident and will be funeralized this afternoon. So just remember his family, if you would, in prayer. And then we had some other things to happen. So just remember this entire community in your thoughts and prayers this week.
Absolutely. So that brings us to, and yes, condolences to the entire family down there in the Great Falls area and all around the county that have experienced some loss. So that brings us to episode 216, which we've entitled Student Centered and Teacher Realistic. So a lot of times we talk about, especially as leaders, things being student centered, and that means that it's something that we believe is in the best interest of students, and this is what we should do. That's what the assignment is. That's what the calling is. But in that calling and in those instances, it can't be really great for students, but horrible for teachers. So we have to make sure that the expectations are not unrealistic. So the first example that I wanted to use is where we are constantly trying to fill learning gaps or the learning loss that happened during the COVID-19 shutdown for students. So if the expectation is for all students to be able to grow, and this is not an unrealistic expectation, all children can grow. We know from the reading documentary that 97% of children can be taught how to read. So if the expectation is growth, then we can't put children at various levels. We have 8 different groups of reading levels in a class, and then expect for a teacher to grow all of those students 2 to 3 grade levels in a year, on top of everything else that they have to do with making sure that that tier 1 instruction is also in place. So we have to really be realistic about what the expectations are, and that means as the leader, we have to be intentional about our scheduling. We have to look at what levels of children that we're placing together in groups for teachers to be able to realistically do their work. And there's also several other things that play into the equation. Do the teachers know how to read your data system that you're using? Because there's various different ones. We use NWEA. Some people have come from places where they use STAR or iReady. Have you done a survey to determine who has been trained and how to read the data and group the students? Have you determined their readiness for being able to provide interventions? Just because a teacher knows how to teach that tier 1 doesn't mean that they scaffold well. And so because some teachers may be more comfortable with others, it's important to do some type of, survey, find out so you can know how to respond. Over to you, Tammy.
Yeah, Shika, this is spot on. And I say, just to echo what you were saying about Student Center now having become kind of a buzz phrase for what we are expecting to see in classrooms, because we hear it so much, but what do we actually mean? And for me, I've always operated under the mantra, when all of the decisions and actions that are being made are based on students, then we are creating a culture of student centeredness. And when we create a student centered culture, we can cultivate that by making sure that our decisions are based on what's going to be best for kids. And I think this is very important to kind of put a pin here, because you're right. When teachers are not given realistic expectations for meeting the needs of children, sometimes they kind of shy away from it. But what we want to tell you this morning is you have to be very cognizant of the fact that you can have two different camps of people, because sometimes you can also have folks who are just not used to operating in a way that is student centered. Why? Because they prefer the comfort of being catered to as adults. So
Mhm.
we have to be very, very careful when we are figuring out how we need to approach our staff or our individual teachers in our respective schools. Because when I first became a principal, I had a lot of work to do in this particular area, because decisions prior to me becoming principal had been made based on what was convenient or the most convenient for adults. And shifting the mindset isn't something that's easy. It wasn't for me. So I realized quickly, though, that I was working with people who were here for the right reasons. And for people who didn't want to work in a student centered environment, they left.
Mhm.
And with a team that's willing to do whatever it takes for kids, it's easy to do those things that you had mentioned previously. And that's when data becomes the compass for what happens in the school.
Absolutely, Tammy. And being that's a part of being that instructional leader, what you just hit on. So you know the difference between I need to provide more resources, more professional development, or I need to provide coaching. You do
Mhm.
have to know exactly how to approach your teachers and what to approach them with. And so the next example that we have is when we're talking about the documentation that's required for a lot of our multi tiered systems of support and these processes, we can't expect for teachers who are serving 100 and 150 students to complete these massive packets of information for children. And even though that sounds like it is in the best interest of children, it's not teacher realistic. So we have to find that's where leadership comes in, the software, the systems, the resources to be able to simplify the process as much as possible so that we're still working in the best interest of students, but we are making it realistic for our teachers. And sometimes the best way to roll something out that's new to ensure that it's really realistic is to ask someone to help you perfect it first. So go to a teacher with the idea, hey, I got this idea, I need your help. I always told my teachers, you all are the experts, because they are. And then as leaders, take the time to go in there, work alongside them to see if it's actually realistic, make the adjustments with the teacher input, and then now, when you get ready to officially roll it out to everyone, now what you're rolling out has more teeth, because, hey, I got this teacher standing here signing off on this saying, yeah, Dr. Houston came in, Dr. Taylor came in, worked alongside me. This works. We were able to do it in my class. I gave this input. This works. So now it's not those thoughts that, oh, here they go again with something else that they haven't even really determined if it can really work. And that work has already been done.
Honey, you better say that again, because I'm telling you, when you just mentioned about coaching, you are really the coach, and you have to decide too, like, is this a coach up? Like, am I coaching you up to be able to do what it is that's going to be happening in the classroom? Am I coaching you out to a place that is a better fit for you? Or am I coaching everybody in the building around your expertise, which gives teachers ownership of whatever it is that we're working on and whatever it is that they feel now I've endorsed this. So your colleagues are looking and saying, okay, I got Tammy's stamp of approval on this. So if Tammy says that this is something that is going to benefit us with these kids, yeah, this means a little bit more. Now, what I want to just echo from your previous thought, Shika, is what is it all about? Is it the paperwork that matters? Or is it about people? Is
Right.
it about these children making the progress that we need for them to make? We have to respect teachers to do what is right for kids and help them when they encounter difficulties, which again goes back to that piece on coaching and being that leader.
Absolutely, Tammy, and thank you all for the comments. I see Constance Sherrod gonna throw her phone. Don't you throw your phone, honey. And Principal Kenyale Sessions, thank you. And this is hard work for us. So the same thing goes for district level leadership with school and school level initiatives. We too have to make sure that, like Tammy said, it's not about paperwork and checking a box, but that it's actually something that's realistic, that's going to work. And one of the things that I'm currently working on with some schools and staff members, we know that from the research, those punitive 10-day suspensions to try to deter children from doing certain things, fighting vaping, it is not a deterrent anymore. The children are still doing those things. And a lot of time, from what I found with the vaping, because that's a big problem in a lot of secondary schools now, vapes have addictive things in them, like nicotine. So when we're telling leaders, hey, stop giving the children 10 days for these vapes, because I've said that a lot. We can't just say stop giving them the 10 days. So I'm working on a toolkit for them to make sure we have some preventative things in place. I found some people to provide some education for the children, because these people have done big marketing to target children to smoke. The colors, the flavors, all of those things are intentional, and marketing does work. But now that the children are addicted to some of the vapes, we can't say, hey, the 10 days, that's going to stop them from vaping, because it's not. So we need some education. We need some remediation. So I'm working on the remediation toolkit for them, because administrators are busy as well. I can say, hey, go create some remediation and some restoration for vaping or what have you. But do they have time in between meeting with students and teachers and parents and dealing with the day to day? No. So from the top level, these are things that I know I can help them with. I will pilot it with the school. Once we see that it works and they give me some feedback, then we will roll it out to everyone else. Over to you, Tammy.
Yes, Chica, that's phenomenal. I think that is going to be something that's very, very helpful. And honestly, we have to also start to kind of think through this with some level of common sense too, because if you put them out of school for 10 days for vaping, give them 10 days of vape at home or wherever they are. You can just go get some more vape. Um,
Exactly.
but I think that just goes back to this whole way that we now exist. Discipline is its own new beast. And if we don't figure out how to get our discipline interventions in place to affect real change, like teaching self regulation and anger management, and um, again, a part of self regulation is going to go back to at the older level, not destroying your body with these vape pens and things that they're putting into their body because it's so toxic. We're going to be doomed if we don't help. If we don't change this trajectory, we're heading definitely in the wrong direction.
Absolutely, Tammy. And I saw the comments about sharing that toolkit, and I definitely will. And that is our time. So please log on next with Principal Kafele, um, and join us on Sunday with Josh, Sensational Sunday, Josh and Dr. Marty Moreno. And then back here on what Principal Kafele has named Super Saturday, with starting off with Principal Sean Hurt, yours truly, Create and Educate at 10:30. And then, of course, the Leaders Mentor the Go at 10:55. You all have a great rest of your Saturday.
Thanks, guys. Have a good week next week.